Cock check, cock check. Ting, 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 ting. A little bit about a tiny dick.
Wow. Neat.
I made it up all day today. It's like, I think I have a podcast tonight. Let's prepare a tiny dick joke with a microphone. Nailed it.
So I called into work and I sat down and started writing.
Dude, one of those days, woke up at 3 in the morning, 3:30 in the morning, couldn't go back to sleep. So here I am. It's like, had to go, took a road trip out to Rochester today. But you will be proud of me.
What's that?
On the road trip. So it was like a van journey. I sat with my friend and we did 3 crossword puzzles on the journey.
Wow.
Feel like a genie ass today.
Wow. So it wasn't a work-based trip.
It was.
Okay. I was going to say Rochester.
Yeah,
Was it a Wegmans thing?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. It was fine. Whatever. Work. Just checking out the corporate shit. Not a big deal. Okay. But yeah, did like 3 crosswords and we solved today's Wordle. So I'm as fresh as I'm going to get. Too. My brain's firing. Yeah.
I did.
I already forgot what it was.
It took me 5.
Stove. But... Spoiler alert if you're watching live.
Oh, man, if you're watching live, which we do not offer, yeah. It is stone. I know what's terrible is when your brain goes too rogue when it's not appropriate to yet. So I had STO blank E and I go, oh, it's probably tricky. Stoke, like to stoke a fire. And I'm like, well, if it's not K, what? Oh, there's an N still. I'm like, oh, is it stone? That's a lot easier. So what I'm trying to get to is I'm too clever and creative for Wordle. I've confused my priorities. Isn't it supposed to come to me? Yes, this is how it's meant to be. Every little thing flashing on a screen.
Moves. I can't believe I have the energy. I almost thought about calling in sick to the podcast, but I didn't. I don't know what excuse I was going to make up, but I just did the genie. I did this at work the other day. One coworker was talking to the other, and Christina Aguilera was on the radio, the in-store, program, and I don't know what they were talking about, training about something. And I just did the genie in the bottle. Got a nice little chuckle. That's all I want. I don't know if they knew the reference, but I did.
And that's the important part is that if they didn't understand the reference, then it just makes you look insane.
Yeah.
Like, are you swimming? I don't understand.
If we laugh, we'll go away.
Yeah. It doesn't matter why they're laughing. If they're laughing, it's fine.
With me, at me, with me, mostly at me. But
yeah,
that's at me. Ready Player Jones. Follow. Look at that plug. Welcome to Strangely Familiar. What is this, a program? Is this a show with stuff and people? And
wow.
Let's go. Episode 35. Look at us. Just real top notch. Boy, I thought I was sharp. But I'm telling you, getting to the end of this hour is going to be like, because all I want to do is take a nap. The Giants play tonight. They got to get killed at football. I have a big bet on the 49ers to win. So
yeah, I love it.
Nothing like betting against your team.
Yep. Betting on your team just doesn't make sense.
I forgot. I remembered a story. It was fantasy football related, sort of. But I forgot to tell you the time did you ever hitchhiked before? Successfully?
Have I ever hitchhiked?
Yeah.
No, I've never pulled it off.
So in 2012-ish, so of course, still in my no car days, but I went to a bar for a fantasy football draft that was run by a guy who was a bartender, and it's like, cool, these are my friends now. I hang out with the barflies because I don't know anybody else in Austin. I'm still yet to meet my crew after the breakup. And so yeah, it was an in-person fantasy football draft, which you don't see a lot now, which means 7 hours of drinking and people getting belligerent. Mostly people I didn't know. Two of them really hated each other by the end of the night, I guess, because they got in a fight and stuff got thrown like all over. And I was like, I got to get out
At
of
the
here. So,
draft?
like,
Oh,
yeah.
no.
So the guy who drove me, I think, might have been involved in the fight or something. We're trying to break it up. And I was like, I don't know any of these people well enough to stick around for this. I'm going to get out of here. So I just, I'm leaving. And I think there was an era in Austin of the smart car where you could like rent it temporary and then park it and leave it. It was a great system. It was like before Uber and Lyft, but they had these little, it was called Car to Go. And you would, yeah, you just have a membership and you tap a little card on the windshield of these little smart cars. If you could find one on your phone, then you just drive it to wherever you're going. As long as it's parked in the street, you end your rental. So it's like a micro rental of a car. Not super efficient as because sometimes if they're not near you, then you're fucked. But anyways, there wasn't any one of those around. If there was, I was probably too drunk to take it. So I was like, hey, let me go walk down to the main drag over here, and I'll just hitchhike home. Duh, super easy. This is the way to do it. And yeah, get out there, walking on the street, thumb out. Here we go. I think actually, you know what? I think I was just gonna walk home, but it probably would have been like an hour long walk home. I was like, you know what? Let's just do it. Stick the thumb out. What could go wrong? Nothing for me actually, but I couldn't believe it. I got picked up. I got in the front seat. I didn't know what to do. I've never done it before. I didn't want to be like a little driving Miss Daisy scenario. I was like, I'm gonna get in the front seat. It was like this beautiful college girl, blonde. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you picking me up, you psychopath?
Do you know
What are
how
you
unsafe
doing?
this is?
I know. Yeah, no, it's gonna be up to the right. But why are you picking me up? And I don't remember.
Yeah,
It was
you're
just
definitely in a
honestly,
position
it was like,
at that point in time, meaning that time of day, where you were coming from,
yeah,
what you had been doing, and where you were in life. You were not the one to be giving like life
yeah.
tips. You're like, let me tell you what you're doing wrong in your life.
Yeah, it must have been dark enough, but I don't know. It was it was a precocious era, for the Austinites.
Mm-hmm.
There's still that
Mm-hmm.
hippie, crunchy vibe, just a community. So it was cool. It was like one of the most genuinely cool moments I've ever had. Just single serving friend for that little bit. Got hitchhiked. It was great. I don't remember if I had cash or if I gave her a tip or whatever, but didn't do anything like creepy like you think I would. I didn't like try to get her number or do anything because it was like it's such a solid, awesome one time experience that I was like, I want us both to come from this and be like, that was swell. But I really hope you stop doing it. And if I hope you're still alive, person, because that is as poor decision making. I'm going to say on your part. I rarely say this, but you're lucky it was me. um, but which
You're
I don't,
lucky I'm not weird.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
like
plus, it
I
was
don't
like
know
I
how
lived in
to
one of those
reassure someone. Go ahead.
Oh, I lived in one of those
I
apartment
said, go ahead.
complexes where you had to like drive into it. So it wasn't like on the street. You had to like drive. Oh yeah, no, it's back. It's the back of the complex. Yeah, so go for
Yeah,
no. Let's find
under
the
that
deepest
big
corner of
elm
this
tree.
spot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but yeah,
that's good.
got third in the league that year.
Right over by those rusty knives. Just park over there. I'm right over
Yeah, by
there.
that dumpster, no behind it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got third in the league that year. Should have got my $100 back because that's what was written. And then I tried to get it. Like I was like, oh no, it just gets forwarded to next year. And I was like, what? No, that's not a next year. I was like, and then that was like an unfriending because he was like a cool. I mean, I had hung out with this guy a few times. Like went to watch baseball at his place. He used to make hot dogs and chili, like the cheap kind. That was the kind of hang I would indulge in, but just used to dole out free shots. I mean, ultimately, kind of a cool dude, but got messy in gambling and stuff like that. So
Okay.
I think he needed the money, you know, those kinds of things. So I was like, cool. Well, guess what? Facebook, unfriend later. See you never.
Whoa. Wow,
Adios.
dude.
Mm-hmm.
That unfriending only cost $100.
Yeah.
I don't even know who I'm saying wins that whole thing, but
No.
um
Uh,
yeah, I mean, yeah, being the outside person for a fantasy football league, I'm yeah, varying degrees. I am in some of the leagues that I'm in. Yeah, that could be interesting, but it's really, I mean, you don't have a lot of opportunities otherwise to meet other dudes after you hit 30.
Yeah.
I mean, especially now for me, it's like working at home after, and hitting 40. I'm like, I don't know where you think I'm going to meet new humans, but it doesn't really happen. Like, I
No,
don't
it's more
know,
single
but
serving friends.
So
Now it's like you find people that can relate to you about something and just have that moment. It's just like you're in line, whatever. You just out, at a bar, sitting outside at a bar somewhere, and you're like, "Hey, I need. Does anybody have sunblock? I got this. I gotta put it on my bald spot." And then other guy's like, "Hey, yeah, pass me some too." It's just like one of those moments of the strangers, like, "Hey, we both have a bald spot. We need sunblock for." And that's the extent of the new relationships, the start and the end of them. But they can be pleasant because
yeah,
there's no commitment. It's a beauty.
that's true. It's true. It's easy. You only have positive memories about it if you have memories.
Yeah.
So yeah, if it's memory worthy, it's only a positive thing. So yeah, I mean, yeah, man, wow, this is really kind of, yeah, it's kind of hard. Like, see, I'm tough. I thrive on stuff like that, and I'm trying to be less dependent on friendships. I got to find happiness outside of the friendships. Got to find happiness in the stuff, not the people.
Wait, you're trying to find happiness in stuff? Wait, maybe
Yeah,
I misunderstood. What do you mean?
yeah, like not be so heavily reliant on social interaction. Like I'm trying to
Oh.
become more self-servient with interests and content. So less reliant on what are the next things I'm doing with people and stuff like that. I've got to find more solo projects and things of that nature activities that I find interesting that don't require other people.
Um, did you get dumped? Is this
No,
Oh, okay, all right. I
no,
really
I'm
got to
just
find a lot of things I can do by myself right now.
no.
I
I
can't.
mean, like not
I know
big
what you mean.
crowds because I've always gravitated towards like groups and doing big activities and going places with people and hanging out in large functions and stuff. And it's just like that's just hard to pull off these days. So I just got to
Yeah,
find better
I mean,
hobbies.
even sometimes, like, because I'm definitely introverted, wherein, like, yeah, again, I need to energize, recharge my batteries alone. But I think, like, last week or the week before, I noticed it might have been 2 days. I think I had 2 days off in a row. And maybe we recorded the pod one day, but then like one of those days I just spent on the kayak by myself fishing, and then the other day I was like gaming or editing something, and I was like, at the end of the second day, I was like, shit, I haven't really seen or talked to anybody, and I was like, usually I like that, but for some reason this time it hit me differently. I was like, I wish I would have had some kind of interaction or gone out. It would have been a good day to go to the bar or like just randomly like meet somebody, and then it was almost too late because it was like the end of my second day in a row, and I was like,
Right.
well, it's too late to like make plans or do something with somebody, and I was like, I gotta figure out this balance because usually easy peasy, just hang out by yourself, play some games, start, get that football lineup ready, start prepping for the NHL season, move some monies around, make some sensible Amazon purchases, all the fun stuff. And I was like, something's missing, you know, the human touch, the human love.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Hmm. Sometimes it's not enough to just love yourself or pretend that you do or go through the motions.
What
Oh no.
are you
Don't leave me
quoting
hanging.
something?
Yeah, just my feelings, my tired ass feelings. No, I'm just like realizing I think I'm coming into a space where I want people more. I want to hang out more and have somebody in my life, special or otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
I'm maturing. This pod is making me mature.
Maturing.
Yes.
Mature.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
So how are you gonna
that's
do that? How
definitely
are
one
you
thing this
gonna?
pod's doing is absolutely making me feel more mature.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, think of it. You
How
haven't
are you
talked
gonna?
about
What
you haven't
hobbies
talked
are you
about
gonna
poop in
acquire?
like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
What?
Wow. I can. My poop's gonna get, dude. I love that we still have a subtle delay. That I love rewatching these and going like, oh, that must have been a delay right there.
Yeah.
It just happened.
Here's hoping. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah. What are you gonna do? What's your do you have hobbies in sight? Do you have a do you
I
have a way
I
you
want
want to
I want
approach it?
I
Are
it
you gonna
sounds
wing it?
bad because it sounds like it's almost like counterproductive to a hobby, but I want it to be practical. I want my hobby to have value.
Okay.
So now is value of a hobby in the idea that you have gotten the satisfaction out of the hobby and that's its value? Or does it need to have practical value outside of you doing the actual hobby?
I lean on like the journey in itself. Well, I try to lean on like the idea, like pursuing the idea as like fulfilling. Does it work all the time? I don't know, but I think in retrospect it can. Like just the search for it, not necessarily the act of it. But I don't know.
Okay.
I guess you'll have to figure that out for yourself, huh?
Oh my God. Can't someone just
Yeah.
tell me how to feel fulfilled? Jeez. Oh my
Like what? Do you want
God.
to
I'm
be a
already
do you want to
willing to do it. Just someone else come
yeah.
up with it.
Like what? Woodworking? Do you want to make money on it? Like do you want to get baseball
Something like
cards
that.
and sell them?
Well, that, I mean, that, see, I have zero collecting and like making barter movements and stuff just does not seem like that. I just assume I'm like, you will buy a lot of baseball cards that'll be worth nothing and you will make
Yeah.
$0. You will lose a lot of money. You're not capable of understanding a hobby like that. So I'm a real go-getter and a real positive
Yeah.
thinker, but no, I honestly, I could never fathom doing that stuff. Now, I don't know, like that's kind of maybe that's why I always said like I want a part-time job to earn money because then it's like, well, it's kind of like a hobby if I'm earning money, but is it a hobby if you're just an employee of something? So I don't know. I don't make anything. I don't make goods.
What if you just run more? Do a Forrest Gump thing.
Just keep running,
Yeah.
running. Am I supposed to GoFundMe that for that? Am I supposed to be like a little kid with like a sign up sheet where you pledge money for how much I run? Can I just do
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Is that a thing? Can I
Yeah.
just, oh, what are you raising funds for? Me? What do you mean?
Yeah.
Like, I just want money because I want you to pay me because I'm a fat guy and I'm running, and that's not what fat guys do. So, like, I want you to pay me per lap because I'm going to
This
go
is
to this
benefiting the
track.
Jeffrey House.
Right. And I'm going to run on this track and earn money doing it
Yeah.
because it's out of
Nobody
character.
thinks I can do it. Do one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have no believers.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely nothing illegal about making a fake reason to set up a GoFundMe. No, there's definitely nothing illegal about that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
It's a
things
fun.
illegal about that. You can't do
It's
that.
a,
You can't make up a reason for people to donate to you.
it's a fun for
People
people
get
who
in
don't have
trouble.
hobbies or don't know how to get hobbies. We want to connect them with the right
Ooh.
hobbies.
See, but that's bullshit because then I'm earning money to start something I have zero intent of doing.
What do you mean
Like,
by value? What I guess for you, what does value mean? Like, what about writing? Just writing, but just for yourself. Nobody else would read it. But would
no,
you?
what the fuck's the point?
No.
No.
What about writing
Zero.
for people who would read it?
I don't even know. I'm not that good of a writer. What do I
Not
write
yet.
about? I don't even have anything to write about.
You could write about. You should write a play.
A play?
Yeah,
How do
start there.
people even
Start with a
write
play.
plays? How
Yeah.
long is a play?
However long,
Like
man.
how
You know what? Don't get restricted. Don't get restricted.
are there like 20-minute plays? Is that a thing? Like are there like opening
Mm-hmm.
plays? Like when you go to the play, is there like you go to see a band and there's an opening band? Is there an opening play, like a 20-minute play that no one went to see, but you get exposed to it anyway? And maybe you'd like support that play and you're like, wow, I'd like to know more about this playwright because they have a 20-minute
Ooh,
play that I
there
can
you go.
kind of be exposed to.
A
Maybe
play about a play.
should
Some
I
kind of cheesy
start the
shit.
industry of opening plays and try to get myself on an existing play and be like, well, I'm here to offer you a 20-minute play that goes on before your play. So as people are sitting down and kind of filing in, they're going to see a free play when they're here to see your play. My play is going to be shorter, right to the point. That's an industry I could start. That's not even
start like a one man show. Just
that's a
everybody's
fucking
filing
stand-up
in. You just got
comedy.
the
That's
cigarette.
stand-up comedy.
I remember when
that's not a play.
No, you talk to the guitars. They're the other characters. One
Guitars.
man.
Why are there
one
guitars?
man, two guitars.
That's going to give the wrong impression of what the kind of play
you talk
people
to
are going to
say. It's like a modern guitar and a vintage guitar. Hey, you're not going to understand this, but old Strat over here, he knows when these were $5 a pack. It's when I peaked. When leather shoes were 13 cents. And I had 2 shits to give, and one of them was for you. I don't know. It doesn't
Why am I
sense,
talking guitars? You just jumped into guitars. When did I miss a guitar part?
Well, it's before the show, isn't it? Before a concert?
No. Damn it. I said it's like how you go to a concert and you go to see a show, but there's an opening act. I want this to be for people who are going to see a play, but they get to see a free opening play before their play that they're there for. So I'm already playing to the play crowd. It's just a shorter play.
Good. I can see now that you're really passionate about this, and I think you.
Well, I'm getting frustrated. I don't know if frustration is coming from the same place as passion, but I mean, we can start there.
You're exhibiting your passion, and there you go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How about this? Write a list of ideas of things that you might like. Did you ever consider making a list?
What is making a list of things I might like? What does that mean?
I don't know, man.
How am I supposed to identify if I might like
that's
something?
really hard. I'm just going to empathize. Boy, it must be really hard to figure out what you might like doing. I can't even understand. I'm really sorry.
Well, Jeff, if you don't have an idea for the play, I fucking hate you. See, it's patronizing. That's not helpful. That's patronizing. There's a fine line between empathy and chastising. I'm so sorry about your fine line.
Yeah. I'm so sorry I heard about your play.
All right. So the option is either make a play about plays, make a one-man play where I talk to guitars, make a pre-play play, or an opening play, if you will, or make a list of things I might like, which I think was supposed to get me to what I would write the play about. But now I'm just more concerned with making a list, but maybe making lists is my hobby.
Yeah. Ooh. Maybe, do you want to start a Pinterest for yourself? Isn't that the thing of lists? Isn't Pinterest is the thing that a lot of girls who I know and respect like to use? They like have their hobbies and their shit, and they pin stuff like crafts and tattoos and nails styles and trips and all kinds of stuff. You just pin it to your board, and it's like your dream journal or something. So if you start one of those, you can have it on there. Like, let's say, I don't know, all of a sudden you get into jack-o'-lantern carving. It's the time of the year. How about it? Why don't you carve? You're really into t-shirts. What if you carve t-shirts into jack-o'-lanterns? I don't know. I'm just tossing things out here. Or, dude, create t-shirts. There you go. I don't know. The one that says, like, I forgot the line. From the OC, Orange County. Make a t-shirt that says, what's Jack Black's line? Talk to the hand. I don't know. Talk to the hand. That's it.
Oh, yeah. Talk to the hand or something.
Dude, you love t-shirts.
I do love t-shirts.
How about this week? You come up with a t-shirt idea and you bring it to class next week. Dude, let's each do it. Let's each make a t-shirt this week. Dude, we're each going to make a t-shirt this week. Boom, we've come up with a hobby. Yay.
Make a t-shirt idea. Okay, does it have to have graphic to it? Should we try to get that elaborate?
It can. Yeah.
Okay.
If you want to. I mean,
all right.
We can go on the iron-on letter style.
All right.
Maybe it's merch. T-shirt. Maybe we think about merch. It doesn't have to be. It could be anything. Dude, don't worry about what it has to be, okay? You just do you. You know what? I want you to be happy, and I want you to be okay being alone. It's like I'm looking in a mirror.
What'd you do this weekend, Jeff? I sat home and made T-shirts, or I at least thought of T-shirts.
Yeah.
You thought
I
of T-shirts?
I thought of T-shirts I could make.
Yeah. Doesn't that make me sound like I'm not all there? Like, what'd you do this weekend? I sat at home by myself, and I thought about T-shirts I could make. Oh, that's very nice, Jeff. Do you want to share with the class your T-shirt ideas? No.
No. I didn't finish thinking.
Yeah. They're gonna be good.
I started to think of them and then I didn't.
They'll be blue, and green, and I could do them in red. Just start rambling off.
Yeah, they can be any color that you like. So last week's homework, I don't know if you remembered it, but I wanted, it was the end of the podcast, and I just remembered a moment in my life where I watched something on TV as it happened that kind of has become a meme, and it's one of my favorite things to remember. So it's February of 2012. Okay. With my roommate Brett, we were just watching ESPN on like a Sunday, just like probably football was on, or maybe it was like, it might have been like when football games started, but like you didn't turn over yet to the CBS, and all of a sudden bowling's on ESPN because they had to, have that counter programming. So we're watching bowling, and Pete Weber's on, who I remember because my buddy Tozer from college knew, because he was like all into bowling about Indian. This guy's he's the bad boy of bowling, Pete Weber there, and I was like, oh man, the bad boy of bowling. Wow, wow, jeez.
Gee willikers.
Give me a hell yeah.
Yeah, it's like, wow, this is very exciting. So when it came on, I think I might have told Brett that. I don't remember exactly how it went, but I was like, this is like, we should watch. This is like, this guy, when he's on, he's like, oh, he's crazy. He's crazy. The bad boy of bowling, And sure enough, we're watching it. And he does the most epic celebration in bowling history that everybody knows. It's become a meme. Maybe some people haven't, but I'm going to share it here because I was just watching it live. And I was like, I can't believe that just... Did he just say? Because I remember it was like, especially we had like the AT&T cable box where you could like the DVR where you could rewind it. I was like, did he just do what did he just say? He just said this thing.
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah. And it was the greatest thing we've ever heard. And we were just dying. And yeah, here it is.
You saw this live?
I've ever seen on TV. Yes. So we watched it as it happened. So Pete Weber, this is to win. He's in the 10th frame going to win the U.S. Open.
Strike to claim it, a strike to claim it, and he got it!
That is right, I did it! That's number 5! Are you kidding me? That's right! Who do you think you are? I am! Get it right!
Oh, man.
The visual's so good, too. Like, the visual's so insane, it's so good.
Who do you think you are?
I
am. And the best part, too, is like, so we're watching it because like his wife's cheering him on the whole time, or she's nervous, but she looks like she's like an 80s hair metal wife, where she's still got the long bleach blonde hair and like, oh, whoa, yikes. And she's got like the bangs, like you can just tell she's dying to go outside for a smoke. And they're just like Florida people that are on TV. And he just happened to win this thing. He's got the best announcer. The announcer for that was Gary Thorne, who used to call the ESPN like Stanley Cup playoff games in the 90s. The best announcer. And of course, he's calling this thing. And now is it, who do you think you are? I am. And it just happens to be one of the greatest moments in television sports history. And I'm glad I got to witness it.
Wow.
I can't who do you think you are? I am.
I'm not 100% certain that it would be called one of the greatest sports moments. However, but it's not one of the greatest sports moments because it's all comedy. It's at his expense.
Yeah.
Like it is laughing at someone. So like, I don't know that it's a great sports moment because it's not about his accomplishment. It's his reaction to the accomplishment. But it's is so weird because now who do you think? And it is funny every time you see it. It's never not funny.
And who do you think you are? I am is so it's so known now that it almost like makes sense because you've heard it so many times. But when you're watching it, if you try to remove yourself from knowing it and just watch it, who do you think you are? I am. You can't. It's untouchable. It's like, all right, I retire. Like you You just gut punched me. You just kicked me in the dick. I am walking away. I can't come back from that. It's a beauty. It's a real beauty. So yeah, I don't know if you can, I don't know if you can match that. I mean, it's hard to think of, like, because we all
that's
seen,
what I'm trying
like,
to think of.
Super
Is
Bowls
like
with the big
cultural
stuff.
events that were taking place and on TV. I mean,
or if you were at one, I don't know. Honestly, I just remembered that, and I was like, I got to talk about this. That I saw this live on TV.
oh, see, that's a lot harder.
Yeah. So I offered you an opportunity, really, but just to give myself a platform.
I mean, I'll give the easiest one that probably comes to mind is for recent history. It's literally the 2016 election and going to sleep when it was still being debated, and then waking up. And I woke up before I had to get up for work, and I checked my phone, and I'm looking at it and saw that like Trump won, and I'm like, that can't be right. I'm like,
yeah.
Oh, holy shit. I'm like, Donald Trump, the guy from TV, is the president. I'm like, this seems fake.
What in the hell is going on here?
Everyone knew Hillary was a dumpster fire. And I'm like, but the politician's gonna win.
Nobody was happy to have her, but it was like, she's got to win.
Yeah.
She's
like I don't know. I'm just like,
person.
and I'm saying this objectively. I'm just like, because I have no allegiance or desire for Hillary Clinton either. But I'm just like, well, she's the politician. She's gonna win. We're all blown away that he won the Republican ticket. That was weird, but it is what it is. And we're like, but she's gonna win.
Yeah, the Apprentice host is in the election. That's funny.
Right. And then he won. And I'm just like, so, like, how does this work now? I go, is this Ashton Kutcher's greatest punked ever? I'm like, it just didn't, like, yeah, it's nothing about policies and stuff. I'm like, this Dingleberry on the TV won. I'm like, just a TV guy. I go, he just talked his way into this. I go, he talked his way into a nomination, then talked his way into election. I'm like, and literally at that point, to be honest with you, I just basically wrote off any faith in like the two-party system, and because I'm like, we have two piles of shit going for election. I'm like, I guess this is just what we do now. Like, so honestly, if you could pinpoint my loss of faith in democracy, it was then. And it's more so on the grand scheme, and it hasn't redeemed itself, because then the election between him and Biden was just like, oh, whoever wins will be now the oldest president ever in American history. I go, well, that's a fucking problem. Because we shouldn't be like trending in that direction. Like, we need older, more incapable. Like, let's go for someone in their 90s. Fuck it. Let's get weird. I'm like, neither of you are appropriate. So the good news is we have never been in more of a situation where we're just electing one dum-dum over another. And so,
well, the good thing is they're going to do it again, and they're 4 years older.
You bet.
It's such a bummer. It makes me sad.
It is. It is a very sad state of affairs. If you think America is the greatest country in the world, you're an idiot, because we let it get to this point. And I don't know. But so, yeah, I mean, cultural event, I remember it vividly, waking up, looking over at my phone, and then being like, huh, so now what? And then I mean, obviously you go into an office building. I go into the office, and that's all people are talking about and discussing. Like, weird, really, really weird. But yeah, that's what came to mind. So that was when I lost my faith in democracy.
You saw that? You saw that happen? You were there?
Yeah.
That was a solid complaint about democracy.
Segue.
Complain is one of our 3 words. Complain, vague, and east from Caitlin, one of our fine YouTube viewers. Mm-hmm. Hopefully she's subscribed. Hit that notification bell. That way when it comes out. You'll know when the pod comes out. That's handy. It is weekly though. I bet if you're listening to this right now, you've made it very deep into an episode, and I'm really proud of you. And I really appreciate that. I don't know how you
haven't skipped to the next thing.
Yeah,
good for you.
But I gotta imagine there's more of this show you haven't seen. So go ahead and watch it. Or don't. There's a lot of good shows out there. And ours is one of them, you know?
We're certainly at least not the bottom part.
Yeah. On the same screen,
we have one of
the
not worst shows ever.
Yeah. You can watch Breaking Bad again. Or us, whatever. Either way. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We're all on the same platform.
We're right now you can watch us and you can watch us on YouTube and you can hear us on a podcast as well. I'm looking to get to that next level where you can smell us, taste, and feel us. So we have gotten 2 of the senses down, but I'm looking to go all 5. And maybe if there's time, we'll consult M. Night Shyamalan about somehow harnessing the 6th sense as well. But we got 2 senses down, folks. We're going for all 5 because we care. Because it's 2023 and it's time we embrace the technology. And I'm pretty sure.
Taste us.
Yeah.
Taste us, StrangeFam. Huh. Feel us.
You look. Smell us.
Smell us. Oh yeah, do it all.
Yeah, so I'm excited.
The 3 words.
What's your complaint?
East Bay complain. Well, I don't know if I have a complaint per se. I feel like my complaints go away a lot. We sort of talked about it. I don't have the constitution to like continue a complaint. I sort of like the idea though. I was thinking about complaining, whatever they are. Like my complaints are sometimes about complaining, or it's like little shit at work that I'm like, whatever. It ends up going over. But I I love savoring is the moments when somebody around you is complaining to, like, whether it's to somebody at a restaurant or whatever in the checkout line. I mean, not when I'm at work, but maybe I'm in line. I'm just like, hey, just you can go. Just keep going. Or just tell them like, hey, that's rude. Just letting them know. Or just having a moment, letting them complain, and then you look at the person so you can have that eye contact where you're like, no, they're the asshole. Because it's just that camaraderie of like recognizing when somebody in public who's complaining for a really shitty reason is being a shitty person. And it's like, I enjoy that. I enjoy having that moment with somebody of like locking eyes and just doing the wide eyes, like, holy shit. Like, we're on the same boat. We all want this to be over like real quick, right? And you're like, yeah, okay, just, hey, don't engage it. Like somehow we know it's like, don't engage it. It's going to go away. Like just that savoring that moment of like, and then they walk away and you're like, what the fuck was that? Like,
what was that?
Then you always say the same shit of like, man, imagine being that guy, having to live that guy's life every day. And you're like, yeah, fuck that. Yeah, that's what I thought of. I don't know. Cause probably a million complaints I do have, but I just, those moments don't get lauded enough.
Let me ask you this though.
Sharing a moment.
Have you ever witnessed a complaint? Let's add a business, let's say. So witness someone complaining, but that you sided with the complainer about the ludicrousy of the business. Because we always think about the times that we see people wrongfully complaining. But have you ever seen someone have the interaction with the associate and the business be wrong, and you're just like, what the hell is going on here?
I probably have, but usually I try not to add into the energy of it. But I can't recall something in particular. Do you have something?
I don't. That's why I was curious.
It's almost like, it's like, let that person complain for you. It's like, oh, let them be the asshole about it. And I'm like, oh, I kind of agree with you, but I'm going to let you like take the heat on this one.
Is I am someone who voices their opinion.
That is a problem for some people.
No, but there's a fine line between voicing your opinion and being constructive about it, and voicing your opinion and not having it heard. So you have to be aggressive enough that you stand your ground and get something out of it, like get things resolved, but you don't want to be a dick. So you can't be subtle, and you want to be calm, but sometimes they don't take you seriously. So it's a fine line to walk, and that's a struggle sometimes. But I have no problem complaining because I feel that I'm quite rational with my expectations. So I get more mad at people mindlessly complaining because I'm like, you're ruining it. You're crying. You're the boy who cried wolf. So that when I actually have a problem that I need addressed, they aren't going to listen to me because they've dealt with your bullshit earlier.
It's all an execution. That's what it is. Like when people come into the store or whatever, and they're like, "Hey, there was this." Like I was, I honestly don't do this, and it's just like, I bit this and had something hard. I was like, "Yeah, that sucks. I'm sorry." But they come in yelling and like looking for somebody to blame, and like just every time I come in here, you guys treat me like shit, and I'm like, "Do we?" Because I don't know you, but if we do, maybe you're a piece of shit. Like I don't know, like
Right.
part of, I mean, a lot of it is like how you handle it, and like, um, just being a human. Like I think there's a way to be mad and constructive and complain and do it in a way that's effective. Maybe not enough people have learned it, because I guess because when you're doing it, usually you're in the heat of the moment, so that makes sense. It's hard to do.
I'm curious as to how something happens at a grocery store that puts that person in the heat of the moment. Like what issues are people bringing that are that
Oh,
dire?
anything. Like, especially, dude, the biggest complainers are the people that have a soft life in a way. Like what is there to complain about in Auburn? Because it's not about. Do you know the stuff to complain about? Is there's nothing to do here. There's not any real restaurants. There's not real entertainment coming through. It's the same shit every day. But that's what people who live here like. Most of them, they like to do that. So you got to come up with other things to complain about. Like he didn't double bag. It's like little shit. Like that guy didn't say thank you to me. It's like, what the fuck is shit? This is taking me 4 minutes too long. And it's like, what else are you gonna do? Like honestly, like, I mean, appreciate your time, but it's what like you're just looking to complain for something. Like your life is so easy that you get to complain about the minutia of going to the grocery store and little things. You know, if that works you up for the day, like you must be living a pretty peachy life. I gotta say, everything must be fantastic. Or as people just complain all the time about every little thing. I think it's maybe more of that, but just can never be happy. I don't know which one it is. There's
Yeah,
a
because
guy.
I
There's a
think
woman who
people.
comes through a line. There's a kid who's like new. He's like 15, 16. He's definitely on the spectrum, like the autism spectrum. He can barely talk to people, but people come through and he's like, he was really rude to me. He barely said anything. I'm like, okay, yeah, well, he's a teenager. It's his first job, and he's on the autistic spectrum for sure. So, good job reading that one. He had a
Right.
solid,
Oh, weird.
solid human. Yeah, solid human plays there.
Yeah. The guy with no arms didn't
What do you
wave at me
think
when I
is?
came in. That was offensive.
Yeah, basically, yeah. What would you think would be a fair complaint about you, like from somebody close to you?
Man.
I mean, I've had a few over the
Fair
years, but
complaint.
I think whatever it says, like I can probably be too, especially in serious moments, be a little too glib or sarcastic or not take things seriously or appear that I'm not taking things seriously. Um, I think there's times I don't have the energy to listen to somebody, but instead of saying it, I just don't listen to people and just hope it, and don't acknowledge it.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, I probably do get worked up over small stuff that's like really weird to get worked up over. Like I'm not looking for like resolution. I have too I have too much expectations for everyone to only operate how I think is rational and
mm,
reasonable.
dude, that's a very therapeutic point right there.
Yeah. Like
Yeah, yeah.
like I'll complain about something and I'll hear it too sometimes. Like but I can see in their looks that they're like you shouldn't concern yourself with how people are doing this. Like there is an option, which is just ignoring this. And I hate that. Just ignore it. And that's probably a big flaw of mine too, is I'm like, no, fix it as opposed to just ignore it. When the real answer is it's just okay to just ignore it. Like you'll get the same result. I think I won't. And I think that, well, the best way for this to not be a problem anymore is for them to fix what they're doing. But in reality, it's like, well, that's not going to happen. And I'm bad at accepting that a lot of stuff like that isn't going to happen. You have to change the way that you react and interpret things as opposed to hoping the outside variable changes or demanding that it does because you think it's a simple fix. So I think I see things as a simple fix and other people go like, yeah, but that's not going to change. I do that in my personal life, my work life, everything. And it sucks. It's annoying. I hate my brain.
Well, it's a hard way to live.
Right? Yeah, it is. It's a real hard way to live. A lot of unsuccessful stories with that.
Yeah. It'll never be the way you want it to be in your whole life.
Correct.
Like always.
Correct.
Yeah. And
correct.
But you know what? Maybe we need people like you that put the pressure on. Just to have that balance, you know?
Right.
But
just
do you think
you're saying the best quality I have is that when people want to be complacent with things, I chime in and go, don't fucking take that from them. You don't have to take that.
Yes, it is. Yeah. You're the guy that's complaining out loud, and I'm the one over there going, yeah, tell him. Give it to him. Yeah, I think that too.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe.
There's a place for you in the world. But yeah, I can understand. I mean, especially if it happens with everything. Like, does it have the same gravity for even small issues, stuff like that? Or
no, it's not always the same gravity. Duration is the extent. Smaller stuff I complain about in smaller bursts. Bigger issues I can go longer at, but I probably have the same intensity for every issue, which is aggressive.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yeah. And I never used to be that way either growing up. Never. I wasn't that guy. I don't know. I just kind of like decided to find my voice, and then it kind of just kept snowballing, like rolling down the hill, and just became a lot larger. And now it's like, I'm going to voice my opinion on a lot of things. And of course, like you're saying, is that like you with serious issues, regardless of the nature of it or the severity, I'm probably going to get angry enough that it turns into like satire and comedy. And it's like, people are like, oh, he's just having fun with that. I'm like, no, I'm actually angry, but my anger is best expressed in mockery and stuff like that. Some people appreciate it, and some people, it lessens the severity for them. So I don't know.
Yeah, I can understand that. I mean, I get, kind of mawkish a little bit when things happen like that. But sometimes I think I have a read on my, like, I can have like resting bitch face a lot, especially at work or things like that, where it's like people are like, oh, you seem like you're mad. And I'm like, I am. Or like one of those. But sometimes I'm not. And I just am that way. And I just look that way. And that's kind of a bummer that I appear that way. But it's weird. Like, I think a fair complaint would be like, I think when my energy's right and I want to engage with people, like they get all my attention. I'll really listen, engage. But if I'm not, I just kind of go through the motions, but I don't really communicate that I'm going through the motions per se. Like sometimes I just want to be like, I don't want to do this. And I've gotten better at it sometimes to be like sometimes somebody will ask me a question and it's like earnestly asking me a question and they care. And I just got to be like, do I give a half-ass answer? But I don't want to do that to my friends or people I care about. So then I just got to be like, I don't want to talk about it. Like, I don't know when I will or if I want to. And it doesn't mean I don't want to or to you. It's just I don't know how else to say it because I don't want to be like an asshole.
Right. Yeah.
My history is like just being an asshole or just being like, yeah, whatever. It was fine. Yeah. And that's like, and then like just shutting down to trying to like avoid a conversation or something like that. Whereas I should just be like, hey, I don't know. I'm not don't have the vibe, don't have the energy for this.
I anticipate how people are going to react, and that's what gets me in trouble. I think I know how they're going to react to my answer, and so I just shut down. And in reality, it's not the way to handle anything in life. Like, just to assume, like, well, then if I say this, you're going to say this. And then they're like, how are you guessing what I'm going to say? Because it's not right, probably. But it's like, it's rude to assume how someone's going to react, because that would drive me insane if someone did it to me, and I instinctively do it to people all the time. So like you said, when you were just saying what you were saying, is I was thinking, sometimes someone will ask me something. I won't give my real opinion because I think they're going to follow up with, well, why? Or that I know how they're going to rebut. And then that'll get me more mad. And so I'm thinking 6 steps ahead when I don't even give them a chance to even have a civil version of the conversation, because I'm going, no, this is going to spiral out of control.
You're going like worst case scenario already, or just
oh yeah,
like kind of taking
big
it there?
time, dude. big time. I'm worst case scenario all the time, and it's a debilitating thing sometimes.
Can you live in the moment?
No.
That's like a very broad, just generic question.
No, I
but
can't.
It is hard. It's hard, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not good at it. Dude, anytime I've ever taken vacation, if I travel the day before I leave to go back home, start setting in. I start getting really antsy, anxious, depressed, confused, worried, like clockwork. The day before I go back to work, you know how many times I had called in to work because I was so anxious after a trip. So I think that people are like, then of course I assume people at work are like, oh, he's just trying to get an extra day off. But it's because I have crippling anxiety that when I come back from vacation, I can't even make the step back. And I usually called in the day after a vacation because I'm so anxious that I can't even get to work. Yeah,
shit.
That's a thing.
It's like you had to get yourself in the right mindset, or like, did you have to have like the itinerary, or like see the path in front of you the whole way?
I'm just like worried. I'm worried that it's going to be tough, and I'm worried about like, am I working the right job? Am I doing the right things in life? And literally all these thoughts would come through every time I get back from an extended vacation. And by extended, I mean like 2 days or more off. I would freak out when I had to go back to work because it was like the concept of like, am I at the right job? Am I doing the right occupation? What can I do? Should I go back to school? Should I do this? Should I do that? Like, and all these things just from having time away from work and enjoying kind of getting away from my problems, I'd come back and they would just completely crush me. And then the next day I'm not enjoying myself, but I'm like laying in bed and I'm like, okay, I couldn't go to work today. I'm like, we're going to go tomorrow. I'm going to figure it out. And it would work. Like I'd probably go back the next day a little bit better in a mindset. But for some reason, that first day back, I'd have crippling anxiety and not be able to go. And I would call in. Majority of my call-ins were not from being sick. They were from mental health issues. Like, and that sucks because it's not really accepted. We like to think that we're making advances on it, but it's not really accepted. So you got to believe when I was a supervisor in that position, I didn't ask my adjusters shit. Like, oh, you're calling in? All right. Good luck with whatever you're dealing with. My old company used to tell me we should ask what their symptoms are. We should ask if they're going to see a physician and all of that. And I'm like, oh yeah, no, I'm not going to do that. And like, they were basically hint, nudging to management of like, yeah, mental health days aren't a thing. So people need to have physical ailments and stuff. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, that's what they won't ever say it and they would never write it down. But that was 100% what was relayed to us. And it's like, you're disgusting. I'm like, if you think mental health doesn't equate the same way as someone having to poop a lot, like then everyone lie to me. Then fine, I have the runs. I'm vomiting and shitting everywhere. That's how I'm going to call in every day. Or you can just take my word that I'm not in a proper set to go into work, regardless of what that means.
Yeah. Imagine you have diarrhea, but it's in your heart.
Right. Heart and brain diarrhea.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Heart diarrhea, brain constipation.
Oh, someone wants a title of the episode. There you go.
No, that's going to be actually my memoirs.
Yeah. There you go. Oh, he's going to write it. He's going to do it.
Yes. My play. That's my 20-minute pre-play play.
Yes.
Shit. Diarrhea, hearts, and mental constipation.
All you had to do is talk about your history of anxiety. All right. I had a mini breakthrough last week because I think I mentioned on the pod before. I've been researching like fear of driving because it's something that's developed in me in the last like decade or so. Because I've had like borderline panic attacks, actually panic attacks while driving on like highways before, and it's the worst feeling ever because it just exacerbates the feeling that you're gonna die. And I don't know where it comes from, why. But I've been watching a lot of videos on it and reading some therapy stuff, and I think the reason why is because my first ever panic attack was while I was driving in Austin one time. Like it was I didn't know it was a panic attack, but I went through it. And like over the last like 10 years or so, maybe a little more, that place has become like the source of like the panic or the anxiety. So when I'm in that space on like a highway, my brain has like programmed itself to feel that, like that fight or flight to start. And I'm like, holy shit. And I'm coming to that realization now. So, and now I've realized like it's a form of agoraphobia where I feel like I don't have an escape. That's where it comes from, especially on a highway or something like that, or driving. You know, if I feel like if there's not like a gas station or somewhere around me that I can't pull off of, I don't feel safe or something like that, or I feel like constricted. And now I just have to like do exposure, and I've been better. I mean, it's crazy because I've driven across the country multiple times. I've been through all this shit, but it's just
not
sometimes
travel.
it
I know
hits.
how to travel.
Yeah, and I'm really good at driving. So I was driving around the lake, Owasco Lake, after doing a little kayak trip the other day, and there's that spot on Westlake Road where it's 2 lanes, but it's like going through trees and it's really tight and there's nowhere you can go. And I was like, I sort of had the premonitions of that moment where I start to like get that feeling, but I was, recalling what I had been reading about, and I was like, okay, like I know what's going on right now. And then I was like, well, the feeling of escape, and I was like, I kind of started to reframe my mind. I was like, well, I can go somewhere right in front of me. There's unlimited road right in front of me that I can just keep going. So it was like I kind of like got myself to start. Not that it's perfect, but I started thinking like I'm always worried about going right, like veering off or going away or getting off of something. Or I should just be like, the path is right in front of me, and I like it. I like driving, and I like being on the path, And it's like it kind of helped me get through that moment to see that the path is forward right now, and that is a path. That is the way to move, and that is my way of getting out. And being on this journey and moving forward is the way.
Do you ever
And I don't
try
know.
to
It
do
was an
the
interesting thought.
Oh, sorry.
No, I mean, did I do what?
I was gonna say, do you ever try to do the thing where they say to like, drive a different way home from a destination or something like that, just to kind of go like, hey, I have this free will, and this isn't monotonous, and this is like I literally, if this, because that might give you a sense of control, because you're like, no, I'm turning here, and that's not a problem, and stuff like that. So like,
Yeah. And it's almost easier to drive not knowing, like having maybe the map app up and not looking it up before. Like if I look it up before, like I'm like, I can see the roads, I can see the highways, I can see where the turns are, and I'm like, oh shit, I might get anxious there. It's that buildup of it. Whereas if I just go and like just respond to the map, respond to the directions, I don't have it because I don't know where I'm going to be. But I've definitely taken like I've driven to like a Syracuse store before and taken like an extra 20 minutes by just taking the scenic route just to avoid like going on 690 or overpasses or something like that. And I just got, I got to get on. I'm just going to have to like do a 3-way drive one day or just get used to it because some days are easy, some days are not. I mean, I think, my anxiety is a lot less these days, but it's not gone, obviously. Probably never will be. But I guess I was happy. It was a moment where I was like, I just visualized or I felt differently about the way I was going and just saw something different. And appreciating that the road in front of me was a way out, and I was already on it. I was already going the way I needed to go, versus like looking for an escape to my on the outside or the periphery. And I was like, whoa, dude, had a boy, take care of yourself. You know what? Take care of yourself, Padawan. Have this one. Have this small victory, and maybe it'll produce something else. Later on.
I just see you having like a Keanu moment where you just go,
yeah, all right, yeah.
It's kind of a Ted Theodore Logan like realization of it. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good. I'm glad we touched on panic and anxiety again. I feel like we haven't. Like we're just getting too comfortable. We're just, really, we're men with hobbies. We like to write and make T-shirts. We've got everything figured out. It's just like sometimes we forget where we came from. It's not all been a success. It's not all
Hi,
been
I'm Jeff.
breezy
I'm writing
the
a
whole
play
time.
of a pre-play, and I make T-shirts, and I've already named my memoirs. What did you do on a Thursday evening?
Yeah. Things are going really well.
Everything's coming up Millhouse.
Yeah. Vague and East. Should we just save?
I mean, I've filed my complaints with the board about recommending vague as a word. I'm like, congrats. Like this is a word that I don't know how I'm supposed to react to this.
I'll save it because I have a story about it, vague, and it involves buying weed in Austin from somebody I didn't know and meeting them in a parking lot. But it can be a regular story. It doesn't have to be like
Sure.
a big thing. But maybe we'll just push it to next week. We'll keep it at a tight 30 here.
Ooh, so close.
And next week's words we'll have recommended from Pistachio Kid. Don't worry, East and Vague will be talking. Don't worry, these words all go into the word jumble and get used again. That's how it works.
Great.
But what do we have? Pistachio Kid on YouTube. Rap, trap, crap.
Right.
You wanted to go with the rhyming thing. Rap, trap, and crap.
Well, crap. I mean, talk about a man who's got a dozen.
We got nothing.
Locked and loaded stories.
Yeah. We got diarrhea hearts and constipation eyes. Or whatever.
It's diarrhea heart and brain constipation.
Yeah.
All right.
Totally. Yeah. Well, maybe there's room for a sequel.
There always is room for a sequel. It's 2023. At least a reboot.
There's always room for number 2.
Oh.